What's good, y'all? This is the real A-Town, and I am going to just make a quick video. It's been a while since I made a video for Modern, and I do want to go ahead and at least showcase something like this because for a lot of people, you haven't probably been practicing ALIN format. I have been watching a lot of ALIN format and practicing it a little bit. And while I am not the most proficient player of all time, ever at all, really, I at the very least do like the Mitsurugi cards enough to have explored what you can do with like a single prayers and stuff like that. And you know, just one card combos that can get you to an infinite amount of possibilities with the Mitsurugi Ryzeal deck. I experimented with it last format, but it was honestly just a little too inconsistent. As much as I love the deck, while its power was great, it just, you know, the Fiendsmith version was just the best by far, in my opinion. Especially with the, you know, even with the consistency issues, there's just no beating it. And sure, you could play Pure, and Pure is, you know, just as good. I mean, after all, it did the best here at YCS Houston recently, you know, before the ban list. But, you know, that came with its own caveats, right? But now Mitsurugi got a lot of good support cards, and I believe that should take it to the top as one of the best contending decks. Let's not kid ourselves, Malice will be the best, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't play with, you know, without the prayers and all that, and, you know, have a good time with it, right? So here I'm going to just showcase what you can do with, you know, a prayers. And I think the best way to start typically is by adding Amino, but if you just have Mitsurugi prayers and nothing else, you kind of have to go between two paths. Do you just go for a straight up you know, Murakumo line where you just have that plus the, you know, Omni Negate, and, you know, you pass with like 4 other cards in hand because they could be hand traps, right? Or do you go try to go even further? And that realistically depends on what you think is worth it, or maybe you have like a Molchummy in hand, right? Like Fuelos. In this circumstance, I will showcase both. So, you know, to start, because you use the prayers like to start your combo in this circumstance where it's the only starter that you have, this card can get ashed. This card can get stopped by quite a few things. You either go directly to add Habakiri, or you can go ahead and add the what's the name, Aramasa. Having the Aramasa here to try to get to the Habakiri is risky because, you know, not Valor. Valor's kind of like not that big of a card to use anymore. But Imperm, right? That's a card that's still rampant, right? And Ash is also pretty rampant, but like both of these cards lose to Ash if, you know, that's your only start. If you think the risk is worth it, you can go ahead and grab the Aramasa to normal summon. So in this circumstance, you know, Aramasa is normal summoning itself to add the Amino, and then Amino will go ahead and special summon the Saji. Saji will then be tributed, and you will go ahead and use Saji effect to add the Mitsurugi Ritual. From here, Mitsurugi Ritual is going to ritual summon the Murakumo from deck by tributing the Amino, or they're both Amino, the Habakiri, and the Habakiri will trigger adding, it could be Great Purification, just dependent on what exactly you want to grab. I wish that you could grab like the purple Mitsurugi Kusanagi, but, you know, because you already use your normal summon, you can't really grab it and try to like make the duo drive. That's just the unfortunate circumstance with this specific line. And this line is also not even my favorite, but it is something that you can try, right? I'll show you why here in a second. So now, if you end off with this, you can set the Great Purification, and then you have the Amino, Negate, or Discard, right? Whichever they choose. You have the Great Purification, Negate, and tribute, and then that would trigger the Amino, which would special summon on the field and blow up your opponent's cards, as well as giving you a follow-up search, which, you know, probably is going to be prayers, but it could be just about any Mitsurugi card that you play in the deck. Now, instead of going for the Great Purification, if your build plays the Dragluxion, then instead you can go ahead and grab yourself the Mirror if you happen to play it. Mirror will then ritual summon the Habakiri from the graveyard, and then trigger the Murakumo, special summoning itself and adding Great Purification, or rather it would add and then special summon itself. And then from here you can overlay all the way to the top. For the Dragluxion, on summon, whenever it's summoned from the extra deck, you get to search for a Galaxy or Tachyon card. In this case, 7 Tachyon will be able to be added to the hand. And then from there, you are going to be able to go for the Masquerade. And you more than likely grab like X Ryzeal, because it's the card that will least punish you, because if you grab Ice, you have to discard a card from hand or from field. X in and of itself will be able to at the very least summon itself without any ramifications. Now, you could grab Ice to just special summon itself and remove the Divine Golden Shadow Dragluxion. Oh, my bad. After 7 Tachyon, you gotta put a card back. In this case, we will put back the Great Purification. Again, you'll see why. And then to prevent the, you know, rank 4 restriction, you will immediately go for its effect, detaching 2, overlaying the Hope Harbinger over it, and now you have a spell negate. From here, you can go ahead, special summon X, and I believe probably the best send is going to be Eclipse Twins. You can also send Duo Drive if you feel that the opponent is just going to hold Nib for whatever reason, but, you know, regardless, you can make Duo Drive here. Duo Drive will then go ahead and add, and then luckily you don't need to keep the material for the Hope Harbinger, because it negates through its effect and not through, you know, detaching. So you can go ahead and detach those 2 materials, one from Duo Drive, one from the what's his face Hope Harbinger, and then you can add a copy of Cross. The Cross isn't like the best add depending, but you know, it is an option. And then you can also add Sword. Sword will allow you to special summon and grab Ice, right? So you can activate the Cross at this point, special summon the Sword, Sword effect, grab Ice, and then from here you can send this to the graveyard, special summon the Ice, overlay into Detonator, and then Detonator will be able to attach the Eclipse Twins. And so, you know, you keep in mind that while this is, you know, decent, right? Like, it's not like the worst thing in the world. You lose the, you know, the Mitsurugi stuff because it's all engrave, and you have no real way to follow it up unless you search for like instead you made like, let's say, King of the Feral Imps. Even Feral Imps doesn't even get you there because you can't really summon like the Kusanagi. But you do have the Detonator Pop, the Cross negate, the Eclipse Twins follow up, and the Hope Harbinger negate. And then when you attach the spell, you can also like maneuver out of being, you know, your opponent crashing into the Detonator. But like it obviously, you know, you don't get the draw off of Cross, you don't get the, you know, what's it called, the trap even, but at that point it's like kind of useless, right? Because you searched, but you do have 4 cards in hand, and then the other cards are, let's say, hand traps. This is, you know, pretty sufficient, right? You know, if you go first against Malice, Detonator's still going to put in a lot of work. If they go, what's it called, Metaltronus, you have the Hope Harbinger negate, right? And 4 other cards to potentially back you up. It's not often that you might break like this, but it is something that can occur, right? Is this combo great? Probably not. And there's better ways to play with, like, you know, starting prayers. And this is something that I'll have to look into a bit further. Also, this also means you have to play like Hope Harbinger and Dragluxion. It's not the worst, right? It is an option at the end of the day, but it definitely means that you have to give up some utility in the extra deck. So this build is not perfected in any way, shape, or form, but it's an option for those that want to play that build. So another way that you can work with that combo is, instead of, you know, normal summoning the Aramasa and using up the normal summon, you could instead just search for the Habakiri by itself. And then from there, if you so choose to, you'd be able to go ahead and move these two, right, and overlay for the Dragluxion. Dragluxion will go ahead and, you know, same thing, search for the 7 Tachyon, and then from there, put back this on top, 7 Tachyon, reveal, what's his face, the Masquerade, right? And then you would search for, instead of X, you would search for Ice, because you haven't used your normal summon. Ice can then go ahead and special summon the Sword Ryzeal. Sword Ryzeal will go ahead and search X, and then from here you will go ahead and detach these two, have the Hope Harbinger, overlay for what's his face, Duo Drive. Duo Drive can then search now, and now the search feels a bit more worth it, right? Like, because you'll have the cross and you'll have the node in hand. And then this ends up playing a bit better into like a Nibiru, because if they nib you, you have the node follow-up. But then yeah, you can go ahead and summon the X, or you can go ahead and keep it. I think it may be more worth keeping it in hand and not even dumping the Eclipse Twins. The only reason why I say that is because then the X Ryzeal stays on field for, you know, kind of no reason. But if you do choose to summon it, you can just go ahead and send, like, you know, the Eclipse Twins anyways, and then overlay these two for another Eclipse Twins, special summon the node, send, special summon sword. Eclipse Twins would then trigger, having itself plus the Eclipse Twins that was sent off of X. And then you can go ahead and summon Detonator, which will equip or attach the other Eclipse Twins, and then that gives you 3 Detonator pops, the Duo Drive, not only attack manipulation, but negate through the cross, and the Spell Trap negate plus the, what's it called? The attack redirection immediately. Again, this does not leave you with the Mitsurugi stuff in hand whatsoever, but let's assume that instead of adding the trap, you added the prayers instead, and just put up a random hand trap to the top instead, or any brick, right? Well, then now the combo becomes a lot better, because now you have the prayers that can in fact summon the Amino, which means you'll be able to go ahead and blow up the field and have an additional negate on top of it. And that's probably how you really should be playing it. Not only that, but this also allows you to go ahead and put back 2 cards with cross, draw, and now you have these two plus the other 3 cards in hand, right? So now you do have 5 cards. You have an immense field, and then on your opponent's turn, you get to go prayers, special summon out the Amino. Amino can blow up, and also be there as an additional form of interruption by saying you either resolve the card or you allow me to just negate it, right? Plus, again, the Eclipse Twins follow-up, right? So, I mean, there's a lot that goes here if you end up actually layering your interactions properly and also sequencing your combo properly. Now, do note that at any point in time, Nibiru is just going to hard check you, right? And that's the one issue with prayers. If you want, you can play cards like Crossout Designator in your deck if you play Nib, but you also have to see the Crossout Designator, and if you have the cross out designator, you're probably going to hit other hand traps that will, hurt you. Whether it be Droll, whether it be Ash, whether it be Imperm, and none of, like, anything in this combo, nothing stops Impulse from stopping you as well. If they Impulse your Mitsurugi Ritual, you kind of just, you're a sitting duck, and hopefully you have cards in hand that help you continue, and if you don't, and like I said, Prayers was your only play, you're kind of behind on resources and probably losing the match against Malice or the Mirror, right? So yeah, that is a quick combo variation of Prayers, and I think this is the best one to follow through, in the off chance that, you are able to get that off, because again, it has a lot of layered interactions. Spell negate, cross negate, detonator pop, detonator follow up with the Eclipse Twins, and more, right? So yeah, and then I guess we can go off with like a Habakiri start video, or not video, but a clip, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now, if you end up starting with Amino, Habakiri rather, then the overall combo can be pretty good. In this case, you would summon and tribute Saji. You would go ahead and ritual by tributing the Habakiri from hand and special summoning out the Murakumo. Habakiri can in this case add the Prayers to the hand, and then you can go ahead and Prayers here, tributing the Amino, Murakumo rather, to not only add the Kusanagi, but then you pay 800 life points and special summon out the Saji back. And then from here in the new chain, Murakumo can go ahead and activate its effect, adding a copy of Great Purification, and in this case I would say not special summoning it. The reason being is that you are going to want to resolve X here. So you will just search. Once Kusanagi is summoned, Kusanagi can go ahead and add Prayers back to hand, and then you can overlay these two into a duo drive. Now that you have two level 4s and you got the duo drive made, you can go ahead and overlay for itself, and then add X, and also add the Cross from the deck. From here, you can activate Cross if you want. Special summon the X, send the Eclipse Twins, and then search. You'll go ahead and search Sword. Sword will go effect, special summon itself, adding a copy of Ice, and then overlaying to make a Detonator. Detonator can then go ahead and attach the Eclipse Twins. But also, if you didn't want to send the Eclipse Twins because, you are kind of keeping the duo drive here, you can just go ahead and instead, had sent the aggregator instead and attach it to itself. Another thing that you could have done instead of that is you could have gone ahead and special summon like these two like normal, overlay one of them for an Eclipse Twins, special summon the Ice, and then trigger Eclipse Twins here, special summoning itself out, attaching here, and then overlaying these two for the Detonator. Detonator will then activate its effect, attaching the other Eclipse Twins to itself. And once DB stops lagging, essentially what you end up having is Mitsurugi Prayers, the trap card. Prayers can pay 800, bring back the Amino during your opponent's turn, and then you have the blow up effect, you have Great Purification, you have Cross Negate, you have Detonator with Eclipse Twins attached, and this ends up making a much better board without having the rank 8 restricting your X from getting value. And here we have lovely DB showcasing why, it's just not the best in every circumstance, but it will always brick, right? So yeah, these are just some of the few combos that I've been like kind of looking into and experimenting with. It's definitely not perfect, but I think the deck breaks a lot less often than it used to. You will still have hands where you may just have that one play or no play at all, just like this. But at the end of the day, you kind of just have to play the deck in the best possible way so that you don't, fall behind a Malice matchup. Regardless, right? I don't have a spreadsheet. I don't follow a spreadsheet. So I'm kind of just winging everything. But I might as well make a video for people that, either don't want to pay for one or aren't looking for one, or maybe they're looking for one but just can't pay, and then build upon what I showed here. I'm sure that there are way better routes to take that also don't involve playing these two XC's monsters. But for the time being, this is just what I'm able to work with off the top of my head. So if anyone has any better suggestions, by all means leave it down in the comments below. This is certainly going to be a very skill intense format if you're playing this build, and if you are not playing this build, even the Malice deck requires a lot of skill, because any one mistake can change your end board from being like Access Code at Ignister, Firewall, Double Link 3 to just, a half board of any of those combination of monsters, plus the back row, plus the draw, stuff like that. It's definitely gonna suck, right? Playing against Malice all the time is a deck that I didn't even like and never practiced with, even in the previous format, but after seeing how well that deck performs, even under Charmies, even under Imperm, even under Droll, even under Lancia in some circumstances, you can't tell me that that's just not the best deck ever. However, I will say this, it's not impossible to play against. So keep trying, and I guarantee you this deck here has a chance, even bigger now chance, to win a YCS guaranteed. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll keep trying to work on my own combos with this and actually set up like a good end board. And if you guys have any tips, make sure you put it down in the comments down below. Hopefully I don't look like a bozo, but yeah, thank you guys.